It is proven to us that most black people don't know how important reparations is. Most black people, they don't know how important, or we don't know how important and essential reparations is, or even what reparations is, obviously. Now, those, the new voices of black media and the people that are talking, including myself, of course, we're very aware about this. Reparations and the argument we have, the political argument, we are very aware that this is your life. This is your everyday life. I was talking to my mother, and she wanted me to talk to my baby brother about something, and I couldn't really get through to him. And she said, you talk about reparations and government issues, but as a leader of different things, she said, but you can't talk to your baby brother. And I couldn't talk to him about an issue that he was experiencing because he had made up his mind and he was being stubborn. So he was 24 at the time. And the reason I couldn't talk to him about the issue because of how he was positioned. And part of how he was positioned was that he didn't come from an elite group. Now, he came from a family of progressive people, but there are certain things you can't not touch and that you don't have access to by being a descendant of slavery from just our group, politically and intellectually as well. So you don't get to practice that which happens for other groups in terms of wealth, and even those who are considered important and do have reparations, because there are groups in the United States that has reparations, and they exchange among them, and it helps. It makes them who they are. It protects the idea of their success and the idea of their safety in terms of business, health-wise even, and mentally and emotionally, intellectually, and governmental. Reparations is your life. Political science is your life. Now, I'm just going to give you that because a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of us as black people, we're walking around basically terribly desensitized. Literally, terribly desensitized. And the thought about this is that it boils down to the fact that you exist under a political umbrella. That's what you exist under. You cannot change that. I use the word power source a lot. A power source is something in hierarchy or above a situation or an individual or a thing. It's powerful. Power is power. It's a hierarchy of something in my definition of the way I express this. And you are under a political umbrella. You are in a society, in a democracy which is ran by government laws and government incentives, the rule of law and rules. And in terms of us as slave descendants, the law has been breaking, non-implemented, and abused wrongfully. The law has. This is not an opinion. These are facts. There's a difference between a fact and opinion. We have gathered the facts on this matter. And when we talk about it, we run into a lot of back and forth, and a lot of times that is like a science project. And the reason that happens is because people don't understand. And some of those are our own people. So we end up running into a back and forth about what's common sense and what you should be impassioned to. So it has worked. In terms of what you need to be impassioned to has been detoured. But we are the only group that has experienced that. Every other group knows that they are to be entitled to their own. They are to be solely for their own selves. They know this is the way you should exist. No man should walk away from his family and go feed 2 and 3 other families and his family starve. That's what that would be like. That's what that's like for the American descendant of slavery. Due to the fact that we have bought into an illusion socially and we think we're okay. We don't want to remember the struggle, so we drop the ball. And there were at a point where there were time to execute our situation, with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and we didn't reach the whole top, and he got assassinated, and the Black Panthers were dealt with, and so forth, and all these things happened, and reparations was never exchanged upon. All that stuff was very important for our life. And a lot of people are dead because of that, because they didn't have any element of choice in terms of wealth, in terms of being healthy in the community. And that's what that's what the political umbrella offers groups, how to stay safe and they keep them healthy. I mean, let me use a better word for it. It keeps people whereabouts safe. It keeps your opportunity and your choices more healthy exchange. So a lot of people have lost their lives due to the fact that they have been a bottom caste, a downtrodden group that has suffered. And we suffered the war on drugs, like I mentioned all the time. And that became something because the people now can be exploited due to the fact that they don't have what they're supposed to have or what they need. And a lot of us, and I don't want to go too far and start being too philosophical, because I will do that. Now, I apologize for that. But let's get back down to the point. A lot of us don't know what reparations is. That is your life. I mean, reparations is like going to the store buying groceries, but it's not welfare. It's your inheritance. No one gets to tell you exactly what to do and monitor your life in the point where, see, you don't have any capital. So you can get a good job. You can become a doctor even. You can do well. But when it comes down to it, there'll always be somebody in hierarchy over you in terms of business. It's not like you're partnering with anybody. And when you get reparations, you may become a business owner. I mean, you can run your own community in terms of what you have as a governmental incentive as a community wealth. Or you can do business with other business owners. And you can work as a sport to keep from being lazy or to make extra money or teach someone how to be humble and go to work. This is what groups do that are elite groups. The United States is an elite society, basically. Reparations is that which keeps you and your situation safe and out of harm's way. It keeps you protected. That's the word I'm using, protected. So now, with that being said, we could change the element of choice a little bit more, and it can become healthy in terms of community and socially, and even physically. Because once you have a problem socially and stuff, and all that stuff also kills you physically. It's stress. And that's why a lot of black people have a lot of problems physically, and they die from stress. This has also been proven, something we don't look at. And it sounds far-fetched to some people because they're in a social illusion. They want to think that they exist the way something reflects to them, and that's not how we exist. So you're emulating things also they reflect to you, and that's not necessarily good because you don't have any power, so you don't control the media. You don't control the fourth branch of government. You are emulating what they show you and what they have allowed your people to do according to their reparations, according to their wealth, in terms of you not having yours, so you can be exploited. And I mean actors, dancers, singers, athletes, gangster rap. I mean, so a lot of that stuff, it is a lot of gifts in the entertainment. People have gifts. They're poets. They can rhyme. They can rap. But what they do is they're being exploited in terms of that. And when they're talking about the lies and the horrible things that they have to endure, a lot of times in gangster rap, and it's poetic. So what happens is now, once they get up there, they start to see, and once they become a little bit more rich or a little bit more advanced, they start to see they don't want to do it like that anymore. But a lot of the people who sign them are people from an elite group and do not care about your group. So they tell them you have to keep saying these words and using these elements because that's what pays. So a lot of these rappers are locked in, pushing poison inside the community because they're also being exploited. And that's what you call a degenerate. So this is what has happened to a people that have been left behind. And this is what happens when the United States government break the law, when someone break the law and not implement the law in terms of us. So a lot of us are experiencing hardship and blind spots we think are normal spaces. They're not normal. It's normalized to us. No other group has to be a downtrodden group in terms of social media, in terms of the media or business. No other group that I know. Now we can talk about the Hispanics, whereas though they have took cheaper labor, but they have an incentive and in exchange. You let me come to your country, I work for cheaper labor. We have the first world. You let me get on the laws that belong to the slave descendants, I'll give you cheaper labor. You let me have the affirmative actions and some of the incentives that belong to the descendant of slavery and of middle class, poor class, lower skill person, because my country is in dire situation, I will give you cheaper labor. So what they do is they do that as a business exchange. And then what happens is everything that's put in place for us gets pushed out. We get used. So basically reparations is important because of these situations that, you heard a knock on my door. That's the maintenance people. They my people, they want to fix my kitchen. But the thing about it is what I'm saying here is I want to reach somebody about this. I'm trying to reach people out there. You can't talk to black people necessarily. Black people don't understand communication in that segment. We think that we're harming somebody. We don't want to talk about government. We don't want to talk about politics. We want to talk about celebrity gossip or whatever we want to hear. But this is the tool that they have been using. And this is what they have been sending. This is the vibe that they have been sending to us as a group, is to go whatever narrative that they're talking about, whatever they're doing, whether it's music, whether it's loving hip hop, whatever, just kind of like be there as like clowns, like be a clown, be phony. And that's what that means is you're not paying attention to that which you should be, because you never became acclimated to the things that are important concerning you as a unit, because we have been divided. First and foremost, let's look at that. But now we come together, we recondition it. So this conversation is worthy because we're coming together. We should every day. In my mind, I'm waking up with this in my intellect, and I do not regret it one bit. I understand what this is. This is your breath. So, your mother's out there and people out there talking and they saying, well, I can't get my mama to understand what's going on. ADOS, ADOS this, ADOS, Yvette Cornell, Antonio Moore, Sidney Darity. They got us on the ground. We American descendant of slavery. That's our name. We should be proud of it. That's going to get us what we're supposed to have. It's going to protect us. And we got people don't even know what's going on. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I look at black people at the grassroots politically, you don't even have a inkling of what politics is. And you have been the sole provider of a society that has neglected you politically. So I can understand why they're not really, because they don't know what it is. They have neglected you politically because you don't know what politics is. You think politics is government talking, heavenly politics, exchanging for and beyond, forfeit somewhere. No, it's right in your life. It's next door to you. It's at home with you. Other groups know this because they have political incentives. Now, one thing that we have that's political, and that's freedom, so-called freedom. Economically, we're not free, though. We're still subservitude for the society and the masses because we don't own anything. And we haven't got the element of choice through reparations and through our inheritance. But we are free from slavery in the fields working and being bedwenches or whatever you want to call it, being killed, hung on trees, and being done wrong and used as a slave, told that 3/5 of human. All these laws got in place because of political science, through political. So that's what politics is. So you might not know what politics is in the segment which I'm talking about, which you should, but you know what it is. You're free from it. In other words, that's what I'm saying. So politics is your life. Politically, you were a slave. You were a slave politically. Those who don't want to talk about it, all they want is clicks, and those who are uppity now because you free, you can go to work, and especially the baby boomers, a lot of you, not all of you, saying stuff, oh, who is this and what's this about? Well, politics, I'm not into politics. Well, politics is into you because it's on the way you got freed is through politics from being a slave. And you were enslaved by politics and the laws of the land and constitutional. So it's your life, whether you know it or not. So when y'all respond to me, a lot of people out there respond to us that are very astute about this and that are very aware about political exchange and environment, which we're talking about. When y'all respond to us and you're opposing something, a lot of times we don't know how to even let you know what that looks like. A lot of times it looks retarded. It looks like you're a retarded person and you need help. It's almost like you shouldn't even be out here being free. You shouldn't be in the free world. You're a danger to yourself and anybody who's your underling, anybody that you become, anybody that you use as a protege is in danger. You don't even know where you're going if you don't know anything about politics. That's one thing other groups don't have to worry about because they are protected by politics, and they are protected in the political arena. Wait. Yeah. That's how, so they don't have that to worry about. Now, when they do start to worry, as you have seen, when they do start to worry, what happens? They hit the street. The news come on, all you hear is picture. Press conferences come, that deportation thing. The United States government and big government, the Democrat Party and everything, they act like somebody was getting their heads cut off. And they took it serious. So when they are affected politically, you see what happens. And these people have been affected politically because they are they are outside their own jurisdiction. So that's a different thing than who we are. A whole different thing, as a matter of fact. So we don't need black people standing with other groups thinking that you're being strong and benevolent and trying to use that as a Christian value talking point when you don't know how to protect yourself. God didn't tell you to be a fool. So a lot of you are blind, literally blind, and we need y'all because we're not gonna stop. We're gonna cut the check. We're gonna keep talking. The check gonna get cut. We here. We coming. We serious. But this is what I want to say to y'all and us. This is how we exist. We have been desensitized. We have been indoctrinated. We are social. We're in an illusion. Black people, wake up. You're a sleeping giant. It's time for you to be methodical. It's time for you to be precise. It's time for you to understand. Politics is real. I mean, it should be your second nature. You know, a lot of people talk about other groups and white people. Why do they always have to be politically correct? Because they understand this is the way they're protected. This is the way they have reigned success in their lives, are comfortable, and they can work by choice in sport. This is how they got a community team sport. Because they understand where their fight is. We don't know where ours at. A lot of people can't get on the train because they don't know where the train at. So we're taking our momentum and using it and throwing down a duck's back when we could be doing something for the greater good. That's why Tupac didn't last long, because he was going around here telling off on the powers that be and through his music. And he wasn't the smartest man in the world because he was also part of the war on drugs, and he was had a hood mentality. Yeah, some things I hear about Tupac, I don't even want to hear no more because he's about my age. Because that's what he was allowed to do, coming from slavery, coming from bottom cans, a group that has been denied something very personal and very important. I mean, very important. So I'm not going to get into too much of the discussion because I want to come back and I want to talk some more. I'm going to start giving you guys a talk at least every day, but I try to do my best about sharing with you guys, so therefore we can continue to catapult in our numbers and be more sensible and impassioned about about our concerns. Because it's disparaging to see some of you guys talking points when we bring you this information and we tell you where to go, and you are totally out in the wilderness, literally. These are facts we're talking about. These are not opinions. And there's more facts that I want to bring to you in terms of who we are and what has happened to us in community and society. We are a unit of 40-some million, and we are worthy and due of the things that belong to us. Thank you for joining me. This is Harper.